From Terry Glenn's son, who got addicted to drugs, to Will Smith's son being convicted of manslaughter, in this video, we're uncovering how life turned out for the children of late NFL players, starting with Terry Glenn's children. Terry Glenn was a notable NFL wide receiver who played for the New England Patriots, Green Bay Packers, and Dallas Cowboys. Born July 23, 1974, Glenn had overcome a difficult childhood. He grew up in foster care after his mother was murdered when he was just 13 years old. Despite these early hardships, he went on to have a successful NFL career, being drafted 7th overall by the Patriots in 1996 and setting a rookie record with 90 receptions. Terry Glenn died on November 20, 2017, at age 43 in a car crash near Dallas. He was ejected from his vehicle after it struck a barrier, and toxicology reports later revealed he had marijuana and a blood alcohol level of 0.165 in his system at the time of the crash. The tragedy left behind 7 children, but the family's pain was far from over. Among Terry's children were Samantha Glenn, who was 12 at the time of her father's death and called him my hero and my dad, and Natalie Glenn, who was 15 and remembered how he was always the loudest supporter at her volleyball games. There was also Christian Glenn, who was 11 and fondly recalled fishing outings with his dad. But it was Terry Glenn Jr. whose story would become the most tragic of all. Terry Glenn Jr., born around 1997, was 22 when he died on November 28, 2019, from an accidental drug overdose. He was found unresponsive in a bathroom at his home in Columbus, Ohio, by family members. Before his death, Terry Jr. had been struggling with grief, particularly during the holiday season. He had tweeted about missing his father, writing poignantly about how Thanksgiving was tough because it was Terry Glenn's favorite holiday to play football as a Dallas Cowboy. Terry Jr. was described as having an infectious personality and was an aspiring entrepreneur and vlogger. His death represented not just another tragedy for the Glenn family, but also highlighted the mental health challenges that can plague the children of deceased NFL players who struggle to cope with their loss and find their own identity in the shadow of their father's legacy. The Glenn family's tragedy deepened with the loss of Terry Jr. But in Jerome Brown's case, the legacy of fatherhood took an unexpected turn when his son, D. Brown, chose a different career path in baseball. Jerome Brown's son, D. Brown. Jerome Brown was a defensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles, drafted in the first round, 9th overall, in 1987. He played his entire 5-year NFL career with the Eagles, earning Pro Bowl selections in 1990 and 1991. But on that fateful summer day, Jerome Brown died at age 27 in a car crash in Brooksville, Florida, when his Corvette skidded on wet pavement, hit a palm tree, and overturned. The crash also claimed the life of his 12-year-old nephew, Augusta Wesley Brown, making the tragedy even more heartbreaking for the Brown family. What makes Jerome Brown's story particularly interesting is what happened to his son, D. Brown. Born in 1982, D was just 10 years old when he lost his father. Many expected that he would follow in Jerome's footsteps and pursue a career in the NFL. After all, he had the genetics, the name recognition, and the natural athletic ability that often runs in families. But life had different plans for D. Brown. Instead of choosing football, D. Brown was drafted in the 10th round of the 2005 MLB draft by the Washington Nationals. This decision marked a significant departure from his father's legacy on the gridiron. D. spent 4 seasons grinding it out in the Nationals minor league system as an outfielder, chasing the dream of making it to the big leagues. When that dream didn't materialize with the Nationals organization, he didn't give up. Instead, he continued his baseball career with the Winnipeg Goldeyes of the Independent Northern League, playing for 2 additional seasons. For D, baseball may have represented a way to honor his athletic heritage while carving out his own unique path, free from the constant comparisons to his father's NFL career and the tragic circumstances of his death. While D. Brown managed to carve out his own lane in baseball, the story of Chris Henry's children shows how a father's sudden death can leave emotional scars that never heal. Chris Henry's children. Chris Henry was a wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals, born on May 17, 1983. His NFL career was marked by both talent and off-field challenges, including multiple arrests and suspensions, but teammates and coaches noted he was turning his life around before his untimely death. Chris Henry died on December 17, 2009, at age 26, from injuries sustained when he fell out of the back of a moving pickup truck during a domestic dispute. The incident occurred in Charlotte, North Carolina, and was ruled accidental, with no charges filed against his fiancée, Lolani Tonga, who was driving the vehicle. Later, an autopsy revealed that Henry had chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, making him the first active NFL player diagnosed with this brain disease posthumously. Henry left behind 3 children with Tonga: Seau, daughter, Chris Jr., and DeMarcus, both sons. What makes their story remarkable is how they were raised after their father's death. Adam Packman Jones, Henry's teammate and close friend, adopted Chris Jr. and DeMarcus, maintaining a close relationship with their mother and ensuring the boys grew up in a supportive environment. The adoption process was deeply emotional for Jones, who reflected on his friendship with Henry and how the boys became inseparable from his own family. Chris Henry Jr., now known as Man, has followed in his father's athletic footsteps and committed to play college football for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Standing 6'6" and weighing 195 pounds, he's been noted for his elite prospect status and potential to be a first-round NFL draft pick. Coaches and teammates have highlighted his work ethic and noted his resemblance to his father, both in appearance and playing style. DeMarcus Henry, nicknamed Bubba, was only 10 months old when his father died. Also adopted by Jones, he's been described as a freak of nature athletically, playing both football and basketball. While less is publicly known about his specific achievements compared to Chris Jr., his athletic potential is evident. Just as Henry's sons carried forward his athletic spirit, Sean Taylor's daughter has been honoring her father's memory in a sport far from the NFL gridiron. Sean Taylor's daughter, Jackie. Sean Taylor was a free safety for the Washington Redskins, killed on November 27, 2007, at age 24, during a home invasion. He was recovering from a knee injury at the time and was shot in the upper thigh, severing his femoral artery, which led to his death. The incident involved intruders attempting to burglarize his home, and Eric Rivera was later sentenced to over 57 years in prison for the shooting. Sean Taylor had one child, Jackie Taylor, born in May 2006 to his fiancée, Jackie Garcia. Jackie was only 18 months old when she lost her father, which means she grew up without any real memories of him, but surrounded by stories of his impact both on and off the football field. Sean Taylor was known for his hard-hitting playing style and had earned the nickname Meast for being half man, half beast. He was a 2-time Pro Bowl selection and was considered one of the most promising young safeties in the NFL when his life was cut short. What's remarkable about Jackie's story is how she has honored her father's legacy while pursuing her own athletic dreams. Jackie Taylor is now a college volleyball player at the University of North Carolina, UNC, where she wears her father's number 21 to honor his memory. The decision to wear number 21 was announced on social media in June 2024 and garnered over 2.4 million views, showing the continued interest in Sean Taylor's legacy. Jackie's path to UNC volleyball wasn't straightforward. She initially played soccer and trained as a dancer before focusing on volleyball in 8th grade, encouraged by her mother, who was a former soccer standout at the University of Miami. Jackie played at Gulliver Prep, leading the team to its first volleyball state championship in school history in 2023. Her coach at UNC, Mike Seau, has praised her as an extremely athletic middle blocker with a huge reach and explosive play, particularly impressive given that she had only been playing volleyball for a few years. Beyond her athletic achievements, Jackie has been actively involved in honoring her father's legacy through various initiatives. She has participated in the Sean Taylor Legacy Project, helped design merchandise, and assisted in planning a statue in his honor that the Washington Commanders announced in August 2024. While Jackie Taylor found her stride on the volleyball court, Darren Williams has grown up under the shadow of a father taken by senseless violence. Darren Williams' son, Jaden. Born on September 27, 1982 in Fort Worth, Texas, Darren Williams had overcome significant challenges in his childhood. When he was just 10 years old, his mother's fiancé was shot to death, giving Williams early exposure to the devastating effects of gun violence. Despite these hardships, he excelled in football, playing at Oklahoma State University before being drafted in the 2nd round by the Denver Broncos in 2005. In his brief but impactful NFL career, he quickly became known for his speed, agility, and distinctive frohawk hairstyle that made him instantly recognizable on the field. On December 31, 2006, after the Broncos' season-ending loss, Williams and several teammates attended a New Year's Eve party at a Denver nightclub. A confrontation occurred between the players and a group of men, leading to the players leaving the club. As they departed in a limousine, shots were fired from a passing vehicle, striking Williams in the neck. He died shortly after at Denver Health Medical Center. Willie Clark, a member of the Trey Crips gang, was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison plus 1,152 years. Clark's confession revealed that the shooting was retaliation for an earlier incident involving Marshall, highlighting the senseless nature of Williams' death. Williams left behind his son, Jaden Williams, with his fiancée, Tiara Leonard. While specific details about Jaden's current life are limited, he has pursued football, potentially inspired by his father's career. The family's focus on maintaining privacy, especially given the tragic and violent circumstances of Williams' death, may explain the lack of detailed public information about Jaden's achievements and current status. The Williams family kept much of Jaden's life private, but the children of Saints legend Will Smith have been unavoidably drawn into years of legal battles surrounding their father's death. Will Smith's children. Will Smith was born on July 4, 1981, and played his entire 10-year NFL career with the New Orleans Saints. He was a key contributor to the Saints' Super Bowl XFL victory in 2010 and was deeply involved in community work through his foundation, Where There's a Will, There's a Way, which supported women and children, particularly in post-Hurricane Katrina recovery efforts. Will Smith was tragically shot and killed on April 9, 2016, in New Orleans during a road rage incident. The incident occurred after a minor traffic accident when a Hummer, driven by Cardell Hayes, rear-ended Smith's Mercedes SUV. After the crash, an argument escalated to violence, with Hayes shooting Smith multiple times and wounding his wife Raquel twice in the leg. Smith was shot 7 times in the back and once in the side, while Raquel was hit in the legs. Smith left behind 3 children with his wife Raquel, William Smith Jr., Winter Smith, and Lisa Smith. The family's experience with the legal system has been particularly challenging and drawn out. Hayes was initially convicted of manslaughter in December 2016 by a 10-2 jury vote and sentenced to 25 years. However, this conviction was overturned in 2020 due to the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling against non-unanimous verdicts in Ramos v. Louisiana. Hayes was released on bond after serving over 4 years and was retried in January 2024. A unanimous jury found him guilty of manslaughter again, and he was sentenced to 25 years, later reduced to 22 years and 2 months for time served on home incarceration. Throughout this legal process, the Smith children have had to relive their father's death repeatedly through court proceedings and media coverage. While specific details about William Jr., Winter, and Lisa's current lives are kept private, court appearances show family members like Lisa accompanying their mother Raquel to legal proceedings. The family's decision to maintain privacy is understandable given the traumatic nature of their father's death and the ongoing public attention surrounding the case. The New Orleans Saints and NFL community have worked to honor Smith's legacy, inducting him into the Saints Ring of Honor in 2019 and having players wear his jersey number 91 on their helmets during the 2016 season. His foundation continues to operate, potentially providing ongoing support for his children's education and future endeavors. For Will Smith's family, the fight for justice played out in courtrooms. For Vincent Jackson's children, the battle is more personal, understanding a father's decline caused by both CTE and addiction. Vincent Jackson's children. Vincent Jackson was born on January 14, 1983, and played 12 seasons in the NFL, split between the San Diego Chargers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Known for his physicality and reliability, he earned 3 Pro Bowl selections and exceeded 1,000 receiving yards 6 times during his career. Jackson was found dead on February 15, 2021, in a hotel room in Brandon, Florida, where he had been staying since January 11. His family had reported him missing on February 10th, and police located him on February 12th, canceling the missing person case after a welfare check. The Hillsborough County Medical Examiner determined that chronic alcohol use was the cause of death, with a blood alcohol content of 0.28% at the time, about 4 times the legal impairment limit in Florida. Jackson was later diagnosed posthumously with stage 2 CTE, a brain disease associated with repeated head trauma from his football career. His widow, Lindsay Van Dewey, revealed in interviews that Jackson had been suffering from memory loss, mood swings, and depression, using alcohol to feel calm when his brain was fuzzy. The family donated his brain for research, hoping to raise awareness about CTE and help other families recognize the warning signs. Jackson had 3 children with Lindsay: Carter, Amaya, and Dominic. While their names have appeared in various news articles, the family has largely kept their personal lives private, especially given the circumstances of Jackson's death. Lindsay has spoken publicly about their family life, describing Jackson as an amazing dad who did everything for his children. In interviews following his death, Lindsay revealed their family's approach to youth sports, noting their decision to delay tackle football for the children until high school, with 2 of them playing flag football instead. This protective approach was likely influenced by Jackson's growing awareness of CTE risks and his personal experience with symptoms that may have been related to his football career. The children's current activities include involvement in competitive sports, with reports indicating they participate in various athletic activities while being shielded from excessive public attention. Jackson's foundation, Jackson in Action 83 Foundation, which he established in 2012 to support military families, continues to operate, potentially providing ongoing support and a way for his children to connect with their father's charitable legacy. While Jackson's children faced the long-term effects of brain trauma in the headlines, the sons of Steve McNair have had to navigate grief while forging distinct paths in sports, the arts, and beyond. Steve McNair's children. McNair, known as Air McNair during his NFL career, was a quarterback who played 13 seasons primarily with the Tennessee Titans and briefly with the Baltimore Ravens. He was a 3-time Pro Bowl selection and was named co-MVP of the NFL in 2003. His death shocked the entire football world and left behind 4 sons who had to cope with not only losing their father, but also the public nature of the circumstances surrounding his death. McNair's 4 sons are Tyler McNair, born 1998, Trenton McNair, born 2003, Steve Latrell McNair Jr., and Stephen O'Brien Corin McNair, born 1994. Each has taken a different path in dealing with their father's legacy and building their own lives. Tyler McNair was 11 years old when his father died and has embraced the arts, becoming a professional dancer, choreographer, and model. He graduated from NYU's Tisch School of the Arts with a BFA in dance and minors in African American Studies and fashion. Initially involved in basketball during high school at Brentwood Academy, Tyler later shifted to dance and is now represented by Zebedee Talent. His mother, Michelle McNair, noted in 2018 that Tyler had struggled with the transition from basketball to dance, but found solace in dreams where he felt his father's approval. Trenton McNair, known as Trent, was 6 years old at the time of his father's death and has pursued athletics by playing college basketball at Palm Beach Atlantic University. During the 2023 to 2024 season, he finished second on the team with 40 steals and fourth with 9 blocks, demonstrating his defensive prowess. Beyond basketball, Trent is an aspiring music artist under the stage name T-Mac, sharing his music on SoundCloud and social media. Steve McNair Jr. and Stephen O'Brien McNair have chosen to live more private lives, with limited public information available about their current activities. Both were notably absent from the 2019 Tennessee Titans jersey retirement ceremony for their father, due to what was described as miscommunication, highlighting potential family dynamics and their desire to maintain personal space while acknowledging McNair's legacy. Despite McNair not leaving a will, his agent confirmed that he had provided instructions to ensure his family was cared for, including his wife Michelle, his 4 sons, and his mother. The estate, initially valued at $19.6 million, was frozen after his death, but later managed to provide for the family, with reports of each son receiving substantial support for their education and future endeavors. McNair's sons each found different ways to live with their father's legacy, but for Junior Seau's children, his death became a national conversation about player safety and mental health. Junior Seau's children. Junior Seau died by suicide on May 2, 2012, at age 43 in Oceanside, California, with his death later linked to chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, confirmed by the National Institutes of Health in 2013. Seau was a legendary linebacker who played 20 seasons in the NFL, primarily with the San Diego Chargers, Miami Dolphins, and New England Patriots. He was a 12-time Pro Bowl selection and was posthumously inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2015. His death helped accelerate discussions about player safety and the long-term consequences of repeated head trauma. Seau had 4 children: Tyler Seau, born 1989, Sydney Seau, born 1993, Jake Seau, born 1995, and Hunter Seau, born 2000. Each has navigated their father's legacy in different ways, with varying degrees of public involvement in CTE awareness and their own personal and professional development. Tyler Seau, who was 23 at the time of his father's death, played college football at Delta State University as a middle linebacker. In 2010, he appeared in all 14 games, recording 27 tackles, including 3 tackles for loss and 0.5 sacks. Since then, Tyler has largely stayed out of the public eye, with no recent information available about his current professional or personal activities, suggesting he has chosen to maintain privacy following his father's tragic death. Sydney Seau was 19 when her father passed, and has been the most publicly visible of the children in advocating for CTE awareness. She played beach volleyball at USC and gained significant attention in 2015 when she was initially denied the opportunity to speak at her father's Hall of Fame induction due to a policy against speeches for deceased inductees. After public backlash, she delivered a powerful 3-minute speech on the NFL Network, with the full version published by the New York Times. Sydney has been vocal about her father's CTE diagnosis and its impact on their family, participating in interviews and documentaries to raise awareness. Reports from 2018 indicated she worked at ESPN, though there are no recent updates on her current professional activities. Seau, who was 17 at the time of his father's death, chose lacrosse over football, playing at Duke University from 2015 to 2019. Despite battling injuries throughout his college career, he managed to tally 23 goals and 13 assists in 53 career games. After graduating, he signed with the Dallas Rattlers of Major League Lacrosse in 2019. Currently, Jake works as a project estimator at Evans General Contractors in Atlanta, Georgia, representing a successful transition from athletics to a professional career in the construction industry. Hunter Seau was the youngest at just 11 when his father died, making his loss particularly traumatic. He was one of the last people to speak with Seau before his death, recalling a poignant moment when he found his father staring at a turned-off television and asked if he was okay, to which Seau replied, "Yes, son, I'm fine." Hunter was a student at the University of San Diego in 2022, but there are no further public updates on his current status or field of study. The Seau family pursued legal action against the NFL, and in 2018, they settled a wrongful death lawsuit for an undisclosed sum, opting out of a broader concussion settlement that could have paid up to $4 million because it didn't address their specific wrongful death claims. This settlement likely provided financial support for the children's education and future endeavors, though specific details remain private. The Seau family's tragedy sparked change in the NFL. The case of Aaron Hernandez's daughter, however, carries an added weight, reconciling a father's love with the reality of his crimes. Aaron Hernandez's daughter. The story of Aaron Hernandez's daughter, Aviel Janelle Hernandez, represents perhaps the most complex and challenging situation among all the children of deceased NFL players, as she must navigate life not only without her father, but also with the knowledge of his criminal conviction and the circumstances surrounding his death. Aviel Janelle Hernandez was born on November 6, 2012, sharing a birthday with her father, who was a tight end for the New England Patriots until his arrest in 2013 for the murder of Odin Lloyd. Aaron Hernandez's fall from grace was swift and dramatic. He went from being a promising NFL player with a $40 million contract extension to being convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole in 2015. Hernandez died by suicide in his prison cell on April 19, 2017, when Aviel was just 4 years old. At the time of his death, she was too young to fully understand the complexity of her father's situation, but as she grows older, she will have to grapple with his legacy. Aviel currently lives with her mother, Cheyenne Jenkins Hernandez, in Rhode Island. She became a big sister in 2018 with the birth of her half-sister Giselle, whose father has not been publicly identified. Cheyenne has worked to provide stability for both daughters while managing the complex legacy of Aviel's father. One of the remarkable aspects of Aviel's story is her involvement in the arts. She is described as having a passion for dancing and has been enrolled in Sherrill's School of Dance in Rhode Island. She has participated in competitive dance and is also described as a runway model, suggesting she's finding her own identity through creative expression rather than athletics, which might be too closely associated with her father's former career. The financial aspects of Aviel's situation have been complicated and somewhat controversial. Aaron Hernandez left behind a trust fund for Aviel, estimated at $700,000, which she will receive when she turns 25. Additionally, she benefits from his NFL pension, providing approximately $150,000 annually. However, there has been legal controversy surrounding the management of these funds, with the trustee in 2023 accusing Cheyenne of misusing trust funds for personal expenses. Cheyenne defended her actions, stating she used the money solely for Aviel's needs, including dance lessons and other child-related expenses. As Aviel grows older, she's currently 12 years old and will turn 13 in November 2025. She will inevitably have to confront the reality of her father's actions and their impact on the families of his victims. This represents a unique psychological challenge that few other children of deceased NFL players face. While other children in similar situations deal with tragic accidents, violence against their fathers, or health-related deaths, Aviel must also grapple with the knowledge that her father took someone else's life. Cheyenne has been deliberate about maintaining Aviel's privacy while occasionally sharing glimpses of their family life on social media. She has posted tributes to Aaron Hernandez, including photos that show him with Aviel as a baby, suggesting an effort to preserve some positive memories for her daughter despite the tragic circumstances. The family's approach seems focused on allowing Aviel to develop her own identity and interests while being protected from excessive public scrutiny. If you enjoyed watching this video, check out our other awesome videos on the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.